So today I'm living the dream. We've got two very new BMWs in front of me. This is a 2019 BMW S1000 XR. And believe it or not, this is the first BMW motorbike that I've ever ridden. And so far, it's quite nice. But since we get to ride this today, I thought we would do a one take, which means absolutely no cuts. From now when the video starts till it ends, no cuts or anything, and that is the complete opposite to how I usually like to make videos. So that is why it is fun. I did the same concept with my 390 Duke a while back, and it was fun. But as a result, you're gonna have to excuse my babbling that is inevitable, because I'm not used to this. We do, however, have two cameras, so you at least get two angles to keep you slightly more entertained. So as I said, it's a 2019. It's spec'd very nicely, got the beautiful traditional BMW colors, and carbon in all the places you wouldn't expect it. There's a tank cover here, your little tank protection in carbon, this nice little tailpiece that's carbon, obviously the hugger and also the chain guard. And if you keep looking for it, you find more. There's more carbon up here, and there's even a little carbon belly pan type thing. But that's not all. We've also got the quick shifter, and that is sort of the sporty side of this bike. We've got the quick shifter, we've got electronic suspension front and back. It's obviously the S1000 engine derived from the Superbike, and then we have the Akropovich exhaust, which makes it sound much better. It's pretty big, but the hole coming out of it's massive, and it sounds brilliant. You'll hear in just a minute. And I'm pretty sure it's a full system, because you can see the bluing here that suggests it's probably titanium. The only thing I don't like about the way it looks is that because of the electronic suspension, I don't know if you can see in here, but there's this massive box behind the rear shock that can only be to do with the electronic shock. So I don't like how big that is. But anyway, that's enough babbling. We may as well get on it and ride. So obviously it's a big sort of dual sport type of bike, and I'm not the tallest guy, but it is massive, and I struggle to touch the ground. And you can really tell when you're turning how heavy it is, especially at low speed. So I've actually been riding this all morning. I've done about 2 hours on it so far, but now for the first time we're going to switch it into dynamic mode, or is dynamic pro an option? We're going to play with the switch and find out. So there's rain, dynamic pro, dynamic, and road. So now it's in dynamic pro, which I assume is the fastest mode, and everyone knows that fastest is always better, and that is the Akropovich that you can hear. Nice little crackles. So as I said, this is the first time I'm riding it in dynamic pro. So let's see if it's any faster, because it's no slouch in road. And it does have the quick shifter both up and down. It has the auto blipper, so you hardly ever touch the clutch, which is pretty strange on such a big bike in my opinion that's a dual sport. You expect it to be very manual. And I always enjoy auto blippers for a while, but I have to say I don't want one, because I miss downshifting and have to rev match myself. That makes you feel like you're riding it a lot more, but every now and then an auto blipper keeps me amused for long enough while I'm riding it. So the windscreen is also adjustable. You just push it down, which is pretty cool, especially for someone short like me, that in this position, oh, I can't get it up now, there we go. In this position, I can hardly see over it. But it looks very cool, and I did 2 hours on the highway this morning, and it keeps the wind off you very nicely. And obviously now that we're doing a one take, we're going to get stuck behind a bus, but that'll get us, or give us, a chance to talk about some of the equipment here. So the new XR has come out, and I assume that has a TFT dash, something newer than this. But this isn't bad, it gives you everything you need to know. Should we try and sneak around the bus? We'll stop at the stop street, and then we'll just sneak past. I'm not even going on the yellow. Okay, so one of the things I played with this morning is the cruise control, which works better than a lot of cars I've used cruise control in. It's really nice. Then, as I said, we've got the 4 modes, and we've got heated grips, which I could have used on the way to get this bike this morning because it was a bit chilly. Here's an ABS switch. I assume you can turn it off. They don't appear to be modes. You can set your suspension between different modes. I'm not going to play with it. I'm just going to leave it as is. And the traditional buttons that you're used to. So it is a very big bike. The handlebars are very wide. And if you ride it slowly, it feels like a touring bike. It just feels very smooth. Exactly like you'd expect a German motorcycle like this to be with an inline 4 engine. It's very, very smooth. And you kind of don't believe that it's got the engine from the RR, the superbike. It can't be the same thing. Now, I know they've changed the internals pretty dramatically. I haven't read up on it, but I'm pretty sure they have. So you don't believe it's the same engine until you start to rev it. So as soon as it starts to get up there, it starts to make that sound that is so familiar of a superbike, and then it starts to feel faster. So it is amazing how it can do all of these things so nicely. And we've got the mount for your GPS and whatever you want. There's so much space. Hand guards to keep the wind off of your hands. It really is a do-it-all bike. The only thing that I've ridden that I can compare this to is I rode a Ducati Multistrada, the 1260S, I'm pretty sure it was. And it actually had a very similar setup. It also had the Akrapovic exhaust. And I think this is definitely smoother, but I have to say that the BMW made a better noise being a V-twin. However, that is kind of cheating, being in a V configuration. It does feel like there's a lot of weight up high. It didn't help that I had a pillion this morning and a top box, but now both of those have been taken off, so it's much more nimble. I don't think I've actually ridden an inline 4 in quite a while. It sounds pretty good. And it does pop nicely. So as I said, this is the first BMW that I've ever ridden. And it's a very nice bike. It is exactly what you expect. It's very smooth and well put together and just does exactly what you want. We are going to ride the famous GS, even the 1250 now, which will be pretty cool to ride them back to back. Considering I've never ridden a BMW and now I'm going to get the chance to ride them back to back, it's just insane. I'm racing a GS now. And we won. The one thing that always amuses me on BMWs, and not just the motorbikes, their cars too, is they always seem to have the weirdest shaped mirrors, and they're always way too small for their bodies, in my opinion. But that could just be one of the weird things that I look out for. Oh, there we go. We found second gear. I have to say, seeing a GS in my mirror is very cool. It feels like we're just the BMW crew rolling through town. Are you tired of the exhaust note yet? Ah! I haven't got stuck in neutral all day, and now it happened twice just because we were on video. Oh, a third time. So the quick shifter is insanely smooth. Even when you're going slowly, you can go up or down, even into first. And first is usually the quirkiest gear to find on a motorcycle, whether there's a quick shifter or not. But this is just silky smooth. You do have to hate the Germans for that. They can make anything smooth. But anyway, we're going to park it here, have one last look at it because it is a pretty good looking bike. And that will be the end of my talking. We'll switch it off. There you can see them together. Pretty much the same color scheme. It has got the rim tape, RNG radiator and oil cooler protectors. It's a very well kitted out bike, and I've had a brilliant day on it so far. But anyway, oh, one last thing, it's got the custom seat. I assume that's not factory. But anyway, thank you so much for watching Reduced Chaos. Tune in next week to see the GS, and I'll see you on the next ride.